All right. Hello, welcome. My name is Diane Ellis. I'm super excited to be interviewing my friend and colleague, Kiera Malowitz. I think I said it right. I'm hoping
You
I
got
did.
it.
Awesome.
Yes.
And Kiera and I met at a networking event, a couple years ago. And she was actually doing a different business at the time. And, here's the deal. We all are always in an evolution. I have written on my wall over there, it says, your clients want the evolution of you. And I love that. A coach told me that a few years ago, and it was like it set me free because it was like I felt like I was trying to be somebody I used to be, and I was trying to do all these things. I'm like, that's not who I am anymore. And so it's been interesting to know Kiera, you, and
Mhm.
watch the evolution. And I recently hired Kiera and her company to come, DFW Decluttered, and the link will be here below, to come to my house. And it was scary and it was good. And you see some evidence of it here. And so I thought, well, how interesting it is to talk about this company, DFW Decluttered, and kind of the journey of how you started it, how it's evolved. I know you have 10 women underneath you or more, probably
Mhm.
at this
Mhm.
point, 10
Mhm.
women that are on your team. In fact, you didn't even come to my house. Your people came to
That's right. They did.
well, yeah. So I don't know. Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your company, and I'm sure I'll have another question for you just right after
Of
that.
course. Yeah, no, that's great. So yeah, my name is Kiera Malowitz. My business is DFW Decluttered. I'm a professional organizer, declutter coach, and also a collectibles advisor. I have
Mm,
lots of titles and owner, right? And owner.
right.
And so I do a little bit of everything, which is why, Diane, you did not see me at your house because I do a little bit of everything. And obviously running the business. But the business really came about from a lot of different reasons kind of merging together as to why I started this. Um, but the first and foremost is I have three children, and two of them are twins. So that brings a whole different ball game to family life.
Right.
And yes, and so I knew that because I worked in the corporate world in marketing, in fact, for many years, in consumer products, in fact. So some of that stuff that we helped declutter and organize, I helped put in your home
Oh,
initially.
okay.
But I knew that I wanted to do something that I could work my schedule around my kids. I stayed home when I had them just for a couple years. I was doing the other business that you and I talked about previously. And then, I was doing this kind of on the side, and my friends were like, you should actually do this like as a
Hmm.
business. And I thought, really? And so, yeah, so I launched the business, just over 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
And yeah, and it was just me. And then about 8 or 9 months in, I was like, I really need a helper. I need someone to help
Yeah.
me when I'm on these jobs. And so I hired someone else, and then we just slowly grew from there. And now I've got 10 women that work with me on site. And then I also
Mm,
have a business assistant and, of course, a bookkeeper because I do not like invoicing, but I have to get paid because I have to pay my team.
right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Wow. So I mean, that's huge growth. And this is why I would really wanted to get on your calendar. That's really a
Yeah.
huge, huge transformation, huge growth
Mhm.
in 2.5 years. And so, and I work with entrepreneurs obviously all day. A lot of the trouble is we're afraid to bring in that outside help, whether it's somebody
Mhm.
to clean, organize, or somebody
Mhm.
to help me with the accounting, or
Mhm.
I have three, now four virtual assistants that help me.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I remember how afraid I was to hire that first person.
Yes.
um, and so what kind of have you had to go through mindset wise
Yeah.
to expand and add these different women on?
You know, it like you said, it's not easy. I was adamant that I will always work with every client, face to face. It's got to be me. It can't be anybody else. The
Drama,
business,
drama.
exactly. Right. Exactly. I built this business. I was like, it has to be me. I'm the brand, but yeah, it was really silly when I look back now. But when I brought on that first helper, it was really like, you and I met in a networking group, and I was in another networking group, and it was really like, I need someone that somebody knows, I can't just hire like a random person. I need like a friend of a friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I found Kay, and she's been with me the longest. And, and it made it fun because we're both a little sarcastic, with each other, not with our clients, unless they want us to be. But they love the banter, because now we're like an old married couple, kind of, we've been together for a while doing this. So, but then, and then from there, I said to her, do you have any friends that would want to work with us? Actually, at first she said, hey, I do have another friend that would love to come work with us. And as I grew, I was like, hey, what about that one friend? And then it kind of expanded from there. Eventually, I obviously, had to go outside the friend network. And that was big and scary. And I had to also let go of me being on every job. Which was also big and scary. And I would say the way I did that is I forced myself. I mean, like I really just stopped being totally on site with every single client as of July this year.
Wow.
And I travel every July. So I planned it where I could not physically be anywhere in the area to go and be on site.
To go wait in the parking lot.
Yeah, I had to, exactly. It's kind of like, I think about with my child, I did the cry it out method with one of my kids, and my husband had to like hold me at the bottom of the stairs, like, don't go, and that's kind of what I did to myself here. Whereas I wouldn't say I went on vacation, but I went and visited family. And so there was nothing I could do. I was out of state, and I still FaceTime in and talked to my team and, guided them through everything, but they were fine. I mean, they were like, they continued on. So, and so once I did that, once I forced myself, now I'm able to, let go a little bit more.
Yeah.
So,
no, I mean, that's such a huge, I'm so glad we're talking about this because, of course, I don't ever know where we're going to end up on these calls, but like a couple of my women, I'm really, and they're totally different businesses. Like they are coaching and counseling and all sorts of things, which is just as scary. I was super scared. I mean, I'm way more comfortable talking about my weight or going to the counselor and telling all my troubles than I was letting you guys into my house. Why? Because it feels so vulnerable. And, we each are vulnerable in different ways, like looking at my bank account feels, scary, with the money people. But like what I've been teaching a lot in my programs is, my coach calls it the transfer of trust. And I was like, I love that phrase. Transfer of trust. So like
That's great.
so like the coach I work with has a whole team of coaches, just like you have a whole bunch of women that you basically helped me know I was going to be okay. They were going to be here. And so that whole concept, like kind of, if I don't position it right, then I'm going to be like mad that you're not here. Right. I'm going to be like, well, I want her and I want her only. And a lot of that's really about our ego. Right. And we have to empower our team, our clients, our people that, we're going to be okay. We're going to be we're all communicating alike. You're not isolated. We're all together on this. And, there's just such there's a lot of mindset work that has to go on with, first of all, with you as the owner releasing, and then second of all, kind of passing the torch to the team so they can be there. Right.
Right. Well, and also even for my team that's been with me, longer than others, right? They were used to just working with me. So
Mhm,
it's a transfer of trust for them too, to
mhm,
suddenly be working, with, more people and different lead organizers, and it varies day to day. And so, it was kind of a leap for all of us, but we took it together. I mean, I'm very
mhm.
close with all my team, and we kind of talked through it all before we ever really did it. And so yeah, it is a process. And then coming into your home, we know, like, you're not alone in that, right? We know that when we go into people's homes, we also do small businesses, but when we go into people's homes, it's their personal space, right? We're very, very conscientious of that, because we know, like, this person is letting us into their home. It's not about, a holiday dinner, or, it's like we're literally touching things, everything that belongs to these people, and we know it's a process. It's a whole mindset, even on the client side, not just
Mhm.
us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember, so the first time I looked at your website, and
Hmm.
this probably, I mean, I know COVID shifted your business a lot.
Hmm.
And,
Hmm.
I had looked at your website and thought, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. And was like, oh, hell no, right? I'm not ready.
Yeah, yeah. I think when
But,
we first met, even you had said something like, "Oh, I need you," but no,
right.
or
And
not no, but you were kind of like, I could tell you weren't ready.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
I guess that's really important for us to remember, that
Hmm.
it takes some client. I mean, the other thing I've heard recently is there's going to be tortoise clients and hare clients. There's going to be some that take a
Hmm.
long time to meander on to the, come on up. And then
Hmm.
others are going to be like, I'm ready tomorrow. What's your first
Hmm.
booking?
Hmm.
And, it's okay either way. We need both types of
Right.
clients. Um,
Exactly. Hmm.
and that your clients, like you said, well, so my question for you is your team, do you
Hmm.
guys, because do you have like a weekly team phone call, a team Zoom, a team text, a team, like, how do you guys stay in touch and communicate with each other?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Every Monday actually is, in fact, my office day. We have no jobs scheduled on Mondays. It's very
Hmm.
rare. Obviously, sometimes we have clients who want like a Friday and Monday because they're wanting to be there and they take a long weekend or something. But usually Mondays are the days that everybody has off, so that they can get their own house, right, and their own kids or whatever they've got going on, and I can get the business organized. So what we do is on Mondays, I meet with each of my lead organizers, and when I do consultations, I either do them virtually or I come into your home. I take photos. Well, that at
Hmm.
that time when I meet with the lead, the Monday before that, the clients that week, I share those photos. We walk through everything. We talk about what organizing product maybe the client prefers versus what we use, or vice versa. We just every detail you can imagine, and we talk through that, and that prepares the lead for what they're basically going to do with the team. And then on the morning of each client, when the team gets there, they just take the first 5 minutes, and the lead organizer says, this is what you're working on, this is your area that you're in charge of. So she may send one or two people to like the closet. And that
Right.
way, that's all day she's thinking about everything, but then they're focused on just a certain area that we know the client wants us to help with. And then maybe we're sending someone else, to a different area. It just depends on how big the team is and how many areas we're addressing. I mean, sometimes we just go in and do, one closet. So
Right.
but that's the goal, and that's kind of how it's like the trickle effect, and that's kind of how we have ourselves organized. So, and we do have a project system as well with notes and all that, but I just
Okay. Okay.
I'm a person who likes to talk to my team, and
Right.
so that's what we do to make sure there's nothing missed, so that that's why I was like, they've got you, trust me, they're good, they're going to
Right.
go in and they know what they're doing. And we've laid out a plan. It's not to say we know everything, right? Because we haven't touched all your things yet.
Right.
Um, but we're you know, mostly prepared. And then we've been doing it long enough that the stuff that we stumble upon, we can address while we're there.
Right. So
Yeah.
where are you, like, what are your business goals, dreams? Where are you headed with where's the next place for DFW Decluttered to go in your future?
You know, that's a great question. And it's something I'm working on right now. You know, one is just like everybody out there right now, I'm hiring, right? So I've got to get my team. We're very busy, and I only like to be booked about 2 weeks out, because when people call us, they're ready, you know, and when they're ready, we don't want them to feel like, oh, sorry, you have to wait 4 to 6 weeks. And right now I'm at like that 3 to 4 week, you know, time frame. So I'm trying to bump it up a little bit. So I'm growing just from a training and people, and you know, I have 2 lead organizers. I'm promoting the third. Actually, I already did it. She's been with us. Everybody who's a lead organizer, by the way, has to have worked with me for months, you know, before they can ever be a lead. Just again, it goes back to that transfer of trust. But also so they know, you know, because every organizer has a different way of organizing. And obviously we're busy, so I know we're doing something right.
Right.
So I want to make sure all people who are interested in being leads are actually like the organizing assistant first. And so I'm about to step into a third lead. She's starting at the end of the month. I mean, officially as the lead. So my goals are to grow in that sense, you know, and kind of, we cover a lot in DFW. We're not just in the, you know, mid cities area between Dallas and Fort Worth. We're really all over. In fact, last week I drove like an hour and 10 minutes to a client. Wow. So, yeah. So, you know, from a geographical standpoint, I'd like to have more teams in other areas. And then I've had a couple clients mention to me about franchising. Obviously, I can't franchise DFW part of this, but and it's something that's on my list to I've got a couple of resources that I'm gonna follow up and start looking into. I don't know. I don't have answers. I don't have the exact direction, but I have ideas, you know?
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, I love that. And that's, of course, you know, here's the deal. None of it, I mean, we, you know, a lot of our business is faith, and, you know, the next step, and like next step. What's the next right thing? Okay. The next right thing is hiring one person. Then, okay, person number 2. Two things I want to make sure I say out loud for the sake of the video. You know, for those of you that are intrigued by this, for one, reach out to Kiera and, you know, get a consult. I did mine by Zoom, you know, not by Zoom. I did it on FaceTime, I think. And the other, so 2 things. When I got the proposal, I thought, wow, this is a great deal. Okay, so this is important in the land of business, because we're always, I mean, for me, I have a lot of money issues. Let me just say it straight up. I've got a lot of money issues, scarcity, and who knows what, a bunch of baggage, whatever. But when I looked at what was going to be included in your, you know, in your package, the amount of people, the time, I was like, wow, I'm getting like a secret great deal, so I better hurry up and sign. And I mean, I know I got the going rate, the deal. But I want people to hear that. I want people that are watching this video to know, sometimes we're afraid to even ask because we don't know what's on the other side. And I mean, I've had this happen with I have a nutritionist. I'm meeting with her this afternoon. I found out my insurance covers the whole thing. Who knew? Like, I had no idea.
Yeah, right? That's great.
Yeah. And like, sometimes we're afraid to ask, but then we find out this is all covered, or it's less than I thought it was going to be, or whatever. So that's one thing I want to say. And then the second thing I want to make sure I say, I love on your website, and I haven't used it yet, but this is a great business concept, the maintenance program. Okay. So tell us a little bit about that, and then I'm going to talk about why it's so brilliant.
Yeah, you know what? And I was just at a client this morning. regarding the maintenance program, because we're kicking off with her. Today was our first day starting the maintenance program for her. So very timely. So the way I do it is because I have a team-based business, most likely when we've helped someone get decluttered, organized, unpacked, whatever it is we've helped them with in their home, we know that we can, we try to make it so that it's easily managed, right? But we're busy, right? We're busy professionals. We're running businesses. We're working in the corporate world. We may have children, whatever the case may be. We're busy. We're just a busy society. And so I know that sometimes, people need help, and that's a great, sorry about that. I got a little thing on my phone. Okay. So sometimes, we need help. And so which is why people call us to begin with, right? They're overwhelmed and they need help. So part of why I started the maintenance program is because I saw that sometimes in those spaces, they really just need more hands to, especially when we come in and we do multiple areas all at once. It's like, unless they keep up with it on a daily or every other day basis, which not everybody has the time to do that, then there's got to be a solution to help them maintain that space. So usually what I try to do is one of the helpers that was on the job, that day. So not the lead, but one of the helpers who knows what we did and was there and saw everything. I'll assign them to that client and I'll have them go back for 4 hours. And sometimes it's every other month, sometimes it's every month. Sometimes it's every 2 weeks. It just depends on the client and how much we've done, for them in the number of spaces. And then they can help tidy up. It's basically like a tidy up service, but it helps them maintain. So like it could be as much as, if we worked on some of your papers, it could be filing your papers. It could be maybe recycling some of your mail that piled up that we know is just ads. It could be, you've restocked the pantry, but you didn't have time to break everything down, and so it could be that we're doing that. And it could be all of that, by the way. We've got 4 hours and when we're in your home. In fact, before I got on the phone with you, I was talking to one of my organizing assistants that was on the job this morning, and she told me like what she did. And she didn't get to every area, but the client was there and the client had a new puppy. And so some of that dog stuff that we had put away, right, was suddenly back out. And so, but it was spaces that we've worked on. So we just kind of reconfigured it to work with, a change that she's had. So, so we had a little more focus on that than we would have, say, if she didn't have the new puppy. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. Well, I love it. And I want to translate this into entrepreneur land for my clients.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of my clients obviously have packages, right? VIP days or 90 days or intensives. But what's so brilliant about what you have is, a lot of us, like, we lose our luster, we need a tune up. We need a tune up. And there's nothing shameful about that. In fact, ideally we'd get people kind of on auto subscribe, right?
Yeah. Right.
And I want, for those that are listening, I want you to think about, what is your maintenance program? Kiera has one built in that I can sign up for, every month or every other month or as needed. But some of you that are listening might need to think about that right now. How can I build this in so that, like, the client doesn't have a one-hit wonder? And how can they get on the recurring payment, the program to stay have a healthy marriage ongoing, whatever that might be. So I'm so glad we were able to talk about that. Okay.
And Diane, just so I could go back to something you said earlier about just my specific business model is, you mentioned how you thought you were getting a deal, right? We get that feedback a lot from clients. They're always like, actually, I've literally had some clients tell me I should be raising my prices. But, the way I have my financial side set up, it's based on growth, and it's based
Right.
on everybody doing their part,
Right.
and so, the pricing for me is fine the way it is. It's not to say it won't ever go up, right?
Right.
But the whole goal is we want it to be affordable. I used to tell my team, I want someone like me to be able to afford me.
Mhm.
And and I have teams, my women are all over, Dallas, Fort Worth. And some of them live in beautiful homes, and some of them are in like condos. It just depends on the stage of their life, right? But either way, they love the fact that we're helping people with all different
Mhm.
backgrounds. We're trying to work in all different budgets. And I honestly think that is, we don't just do a good job, but that is part of why we are so busy,
Right.
because we try to reach more people that need our help.
Yeah, and you really are. I mean, I think I mean, yes, you are.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a stretch for me, but then when I
Mhm.
realized what was included, it was a
Mhm.
no-brainer.
Mhm.
And and then really the peace of mind afterwards. And I mean,
Mhm.
just for those listening, it's hard ass work.
Yes,
It,
it
it's
is.
hard.
It's very physical work and very mental too.
It is. And I told
Mhm.
you this, but like when the five women left and got in their car, I burst into tears.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's very emotional. It's like
Mhm.
you're
It
saying
is.
goodbye to your knickknacks and your little trinkets, and things are
Mhm.
driving down the road, and it's good. It's good.
Mhm.
Your body's sore. I mean, mine was. My
Mhm.
body was
Mhm.
sore. My mind was very tired
Mhm.
there's
Mhm.
a lot of decision fatigue that goes on in this
Yep.
experience.
Absolutely. Yep.
And that it's okay, and it was okay, and they let me be grumpy and ask questions and all the things. One other concept that I think was really fascinating that I learned from you guys, and I'm also learning in one of my other coaching programs, is containers.
Mhm.
Containers. So you guys live in the land of like, we need a container for these things. Like, it's a container. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
But it's so fascinating because the coaching program I'm in is forcing me to put some of my trainings and programs and systems in new kind of digital mental containers. And so
Oh.
it was like I went through this experience with you, and then I was in this program where they're
Mhm.
having me kind of almost unpack what I
Mhm.
teach.
Yep.
And it's just as painful, but it's
Mhm.
powerful, and really it's been kind of, it's like I'm pulling apart these digital courses I
Mhm.
teach and seeing
Mhm.
what's in there and deciding what stays,
Right.
and redoing the container and throwing some things in the back. Some things need to go in the
Yep.
archives,
Mhm.
right? But some things need to go out to the front. the
Yep.
back the
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell me all, tell me about containers and how, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, talk to me about containers.
Yeah, no, it's a great uh I love the way you just described it, because it applies to a lot of different businesses. For us, it's a very physical aspect, and I'll be honest, before I moved forward in my training of, okay, I'm going to get training before I launch my business and do all this. And I had already taken some classes not knowing I was going to be doing this, because I just had such an interest in it. That should have been my first sign. And so part of what, my mindset at the time was, well, we don't have to contain everything, and it just takes up more space. Okay,
Mhm.
this was the mindset, and this is the mindset of a lot of clients too, which there's nothing wrong with that, because that was where my brain was too. But as we do this more and more, we realize that when we are decluttering and organizing for clients, we really need to break it down into different categories. And
Mm.
then, depending on the client's habits, we want to figure out, like if you have a place you drop your mail every day, it ends up on the kitchen counter, then we've got to
Mm.
find a solution that just tweaks that habit but contains it as well.
Mm.
And at the same time forces you to go through it. It's really a trick, it's a little bit of a trick of the mindset too. But the containment is really important, because we may be helping, say, the woman of the household, but it really affects everybody in the household. And that's why the containment and the labeling, any sort of labeling, are key, because that is what helps it not just be the one person who hired us to bring us in. It becomes everybody's responsibility to help maintain. So,
oh my gosh.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. So big. And yeah, containers and categories and those labels. I feel like I finally know where my gift bags are. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, it's as simple as that. Like there's a sign that says gift bags. And
Right.
so I now know that they don't all go randomly, here, there, and everywhere. They go here. This is where they live. This is their home.
Right.
And they are happy there. But
Right.
I too, I was like, okay, I don't know where things are. I have 15 staplers. Why? Because I forget that I have staplers in this one section.
No, but
Anyway.
that's the thing. You're not alone. I always tell people there's more people like this, than there are not. I always tell my team, we're the odd ducks, just remember that we're the odd ones, we like to do this. We like to help people go through their things. We like to categorize, we like to label and contain. But not everybody and most people don't really enjoy doing that. And so, just like everything in life, it's about priorities, right? And so that's why I was so glad, like people like you call us, because that means they've realized, okay, this is not, I need my house straightened out or my business straightened out, but I need someone to come in and help me because I have other things that I need to focus on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, tell them where to find you, and then we'll close up.
Yeah. Okay. So my website is dfwdecluttered.com. There is a contact form on there, but you can also just call or text me 682-651-5532. I'm very responsive to my text messages. If for some reason I didn't text you back, it's probably because I didn't get it. So, because you never know with the phone systems here, but I am very responsive to the contact form or to texting or calling. I really always encourage people and just to have the conversation. I have people reach out to me who are interested in doing the consultation, but they're like, well, let me find out more about you. I want to talk to you first. Right. And then maybe they call me like a month later. Okay, now I'm ready for that consultation. Right. And I go in for the consultation. And I have some people who don't hire me for 6 months, after the consultation. And it's only because timing, right? What's going on in their life, priorities, budget, right? They're like, okay, now I know how much this is going to cost. And then I have other people who are like, please come tomorrow.
Exactly. Well, and you have a Facebook page, same thing, DFW Decluttered, right?
Yep, it's DFW Decluttered, and Instagram as well. So everything's the same. It's nice and easy to find me. And Instagram is nice just because you can see all the different spaces we work on.
Oh, nice. Well, my pictures are on the Facebook page, probably the Instagram too, and I won't. They're good. They're good. I'll just leave it at that. So if anybody wants to find me, my name is Diane Cunningham Ellis. You can find me at dianecunningham.com, and I help action-taking Christian women to start or scale their business. And I do that in a variety of ways, like this, with coaching, creating communities, coaching programs, and online and digital courses. So anyway, I'm so thankful that you were willing to do this with me, and I am going to just send us both out. I know we both have more work to do today. And it's great to see you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Diane, so much for having me. And I really appreciate you, sharing and talking about the business side. And I hope whoever watches this has some takeaways, because I feel like there's a lot to learn from you. So
yeah, there's a lot of good juice. This is juicy.
Yeah.
All right. I'll talk to you later, honey.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.